and water resources. Will the Deputy Prime Minister outline how the Coalition Government is securing the future of agricultural production across the nation, including in my electorate of Parkes? Is he aware of any threats to the ongoing viability of hard-working Australian businesses and families?
The Deputy Prime Minister has the call.
Well, Mr Speaker, I thank the honourable member for his question and note the incredible success that such things the Agricultural White Paper has had in all the construction of the new grain storage facilities that is happening through his electorate, as he's always said, the new shiny sheds that are going up because we, on the coalition side, believe in people preparing for droughts. We also believe in the Inland Rail, which we've put money on the table for the Inland Rail, one of the greatest pieces of infrastructure in our nation, showing a real vision between ourselves and the Labor and the Greens, who have got really no vision for inland Australia, and you could see that in the recent New England election where the Leader of the Opposition never even bothered turning up. Not that he should have, because he's not very popular up there. It's also incredibly important that we stand behind such things as the export of our product, our free trade agreements into especially the Chinese market. And of course the Labor Party has got a great knowledge of the Chinese market and know probably better than Senator Sam Dastyari. He's got a spectacular knowledge of the Chinese market. In fact, one could say that he's very valuable in his information that he can deliver. In fact, he's talking about threats, and I think one of the greatest threats is a nation that doesn't protect its security. And one of the greatest threats to people who protect their security is when a member of the opposition decides that they are going to go and try and deliver the secrets of our nation to another nation. And what's absolutely disgusting is when you can have a look at this. See, he's back. Have a look at that.
The Deputy Prime Minister will resume his seat. Deputy Prime Minister will resume his seat. Members will cease interjecting. The Manager of Opposition Business on a point of order.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Just referring to page 517 of practice, I know you're familiar with the ruling of Speaker Aston that's referred to there when you're dealing with certain allegations generally of this particular nature, and I ask that it be withdrawn.
The Deputy Prime Minister will cease interjecting. I thank the Manager of Opposition Business for his question. Obviously, I've been listening very closely and I've been reflecting on past debates, and there is a fine line in all of this. Without seeking to make an example of anyone, the member for Fairfax crossed it just before question time with the use of a specific term. I'm listening very carefully to the Deputy Prime Minister. I don't think he's crossed it yet, and I don't want him to, but I just urge him to be familiar about reflections on members. Deputy Prime Minister has the call.
Well, Mr Speaker, thank you. And I might also note that probably one of the greatest threats to regional Australia will be a Labor government. Of course, one of the greatest prospects of that is if we don't get the proper vote in Bennelong, if we don't get the votes to support John Alexander, because if we don't get John Alexander, what we're going to get is the Labor Party's policy on dams, where they're taking money away from dams. We're going to get the Labor Party's policy on the Inland Rail, but they don't believe in the Inland Rail.
Deputy Prime Minister resume his seat. The Manager of Opposition Business on a point of order, I predict.
It's on a point of order. I'm not sure how you can be directly relevant to a question about agriculture when you're talking about Bennelong. There's limited farmland.
The Manager of Opposition Business will resume his seat. Members on my right will cease interjecting. I'm prepared to give the Deputy Prime Minister. The Minister for Small Business is warned. The Deputy Prime Minister has the call.
Mr Speaker, as we know that it is Labor Party policies which are the greatest threat, and we have to understand that one of the greatest things the Australian people can do with any government is to trust them. And unfortunately, we can't trust the government which allows the member for Batman to vote when he actually shouldn't be here, when he allows Senator Gallagher to vote when she should actually be here. And we got the member for Longman up there. The member for Longman is still a British citizen. But the biggest thing you can say, should I say this to you, it's just remember that. Remember that he's got his back turned to you in Bennelong. He's got his back turned to you because he doesn't believe you. He's a very untrustworthy, shifty character. It's this man with his back turned to you. But Mr Speaker, it is absolutely important that we don't get the same party that gave us Tripodi that gave us McDonald, that gave us Dastiari, now about to give us Keneally in the seat of Bennelong. We know the Australian people can send the Labor Party a message and keep it.
Deputy Prime Minister's time has concluded. Members on both sides.